Welcome to this terrific Tuesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming today as we do every single day from the Liquid Lunch Outpost on Newsmax TV. Yes, we are in downtown Manhattan, and yes, Mom, we're still on Broadway. And before getting into a terrific Tuesday of a show, let's take a look down the street at the New York Stock Exchange. Yesterday, one of the biggest single-day gains in history. Dow did bounce back up almost 1,300 points. You know, I was talking to you yesterday's open about how I wanted to see the market close above 26,000. It did that and more. But today, a little more problems out there. There's some nervous Nellies in the market. Dow up this morning on news. As I said, the Fed did have an emergency 50 basis point cut in their arsenal, but they used that today. It was a little salve on the markets, but not for long. Now the markets are down 240. So things are getting a little scary. We'll keep our eye close on that. Bitcoin is ranging around in the mid 8,000s. You know, the last time I bought Bitcoin was at 8,000. Thought we might see 13 on the last rally. It hit 10, got smashed on the head. Now it's back in the 8,500 range. So we'll keep our eye on that too. But if you have Bitcoin in your portfolio right now, I think you're in good shape. And I'm still happy. Under 8,000, we may have a problem on our hands, but we'll keep you posted on that. Now, it's always a terrific Tuesday here on Liquid Lunch, but it gets even more terrific when I'm joined by my special guest host for the entire 2 hours today. Erin Elmore joins me. Hello, Erin. Thank you so much.
And thank you for my Liquid Lunch.
You're welcome anytime for a Liquid Lunch. And Erin Elmore, you may know her. She is a widely recognized television personality. She's also a big Trump supporter, as part of Turning Point. She's an ambassador, and she's also an attorney. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I was also on The Apprentice with Donald Trump, so we go way back.
I forgot about that. But right,
so
you've been on the Trump train. How long ago was that you were on
100 years ago. So literally it was 2006.
2006.
I was a spring chicken back then.
So you've been on the Trump train for quite some time.
Yes, that's how it all started.
And tell me, how was it? I know before it became Celebrity Apprentice, you were on, right?
I was on because I was a young attorney starting out my career, and I stood in line at the Lowe's Hotel in Philadelphia just like anybody else, and I was selected from 2 or 3 million people to be one of the contestants. Did very well on the show. President Trump, now President Trump, and I kept in very close touch. He wrote me letters of recommendation.
What do you mean by that?
He was
not saying anything.
So,
no. You know, there's a lot of things going on these days, Erin. You kept in contact.
He was a mentor to me.
Yeah, that's all.
And wrote me letters of recommendation, helped me get my first job in television, and here we are.
Okay, so he got you your first job in television?
He did.
Where?
I worked at an NBC affiliate as a reporter in Florida.
Do you put your legal degree to work, or you're not really practicing?
In some capacities, unofficially. I've done some secret prenup work for people, which, by the way, that could be a whole show. We could do 2 hours on prenups.
But I'm saying, most people hate attorneys, so you're not actually an attorney.
No, I'm not one of,
You're not one of them.
I just play one on TV.
All this stuff going on. Today's the big day, Super Tuesday. It's
to Joe
even
Biden.
More super for me to have you with us.
It's Super Thursday for Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Sleepy Joe, it's Super Thursday.
Does he even know what day it is today? Yesterday
don't know.
He was calling Chris Wallace Chuck Todd.
I know.
and
Corn Pop, I mean.
Yeah, but then he went on to say, I don't know how you guys do this in the morning. He was on the Sunday morning shows. Is that projecting strength for our next president? I don't know how you do this every morning.
Right.
That's got to be tough.
I don't know how he gets up every morning.
What do you think the average first tweet time from Donald Trump is? 4 a.m. Yeah, 4 a.m.
Trust me, he's not a sleeper. Some people just have that gene that they do not need a lot of sleep. President Trump is that person.
Erin, I don't know. It seems like now, to me, it almost looks planned. That, there was this cloudiness in Iowa, and it turns out that a bunch of Hillary's people were behind Buttigieg and the app that counted the votes, and that was shady, right? And then New Hampshire, Bernie got the win, but they were kind of close on the delegates. And now, all of a sudden, Biden wins South Carolina, and everybody's jumping ship. It almost looks orchestrated, doesn't it? Buttigieg drops out, Klobuchar, everybody just dropped out.
Right, and they all endorsed Biden.
and they're clearing the field for Biden.
Because I think they realized that this could be an existential threat to the United States of America if we get Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders has absolutely no chance of beating President Trump. So everyone said, if we want to be traditional Democrats and stay behind this Democrat Party, we need to rally behind Joe Biden. He's our best bet, which is a pretty sad best choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. I've been saying for months that, they keep saying Joe Biden's running for the presidency. I feel like he's limping. I feel like he's limping his whole way through it. Like, they got to prop him up almost.
I mean, it's like Weekend at Bernie's a little bit. He's barely there. He cannot really form one appropriate sentence. To get out a whole thought that is cogent and articulate is very difficult for the man. And what I also think is absolutely absurd is that we have 3 white men over 70 years old in the party that bangs their fist about women's rights and bangs their fist about brown and black people. All they have is 3 old white dudes.
In the big blue wave. Remember the blue wave?
Oh, yeah.
We elected the most freshman women,
right.
The most diverse group of freshman candidates and everything
Yeah.
else. When all's said and done, like you said, 3 septuagenarians.
That's
you know
right,
what I mean?
octogenarians,
They're
basically.
Yeah,
Pretty
almost.
close.
And
They're on the train to octogenarianville.
Lo and behold, I would say, I don't know what you think, but I would say after today, Elizabeth Warren's probably gone.
I think Polka should get her walking papers because it would behoove her to get out of this race. But I think she's waiting on that VP nod from.
You think she's going to be Bernie's
I
VP?
do.
Yeah? You think
Yeah.
that's what she's auditioning for?
I think she's auditioning for a little Bernie Sanders VP action.
Joe Biden's not going with Elizabeth Warren.
No, I think he goes with Klobuchar, right?
You think Biden's going to take Klobuchar? I don't think so. I feel like there's a floor fight brewing here because Bernie's going to get a bunch today.
Right.
I think Bernie's going to get a bunch. And Biden's going to have, keep tagging along with, a decent bunch. Bloomberg's going to pick up some snivels in the middle, you know what I mean? And I think they're all going to get to their convention with nobody having, a majority, maybe a plurality, but not the majority.
And that's definitely what Bernie wants, because then he's going to wait for those superdelegates to come in and fight it out.
Yeah, but I think the superdelegates are part of the establishment, from what I'm hearing, and the superdelegates aren't for Bernie.
So then we're going to be in for a contested convention.
That's what I'm saying. A contested convention, I think, I could see, like, Hillary Clinton emerging somewhere.
Dear Lord, let's pray now. I mean, isn't she tied up with the Benghazi depositions? Why don't we let her sit back, let the court reporter do his or her job, and she should really get to talking about those emails that were deleted as opposed to being involved in politics in 2020.
What do you think? Markets had a tremendous day yesterday.
Right.
I know the president's been banging the drum that he wants some rate cuts out of the Federal Reserve Chairman.
Worked.
He gave us 50 basis points this morning, but markets is still down 200 today. So, there's got to be some better stimulus we could do.
I think that these headlines do move the market, and I think that the liberal media, as we know, they are biased against Republicans. They are pushing this narrative about the coronavirus being more dangerous than it ultimately shall end up being, and it's scaring the markets to a degree. But I'm glad that there was a rebound yesterday because it shows that the Democrats don't necessarily have control of the situation. And what's more troubling to me about the Democrats controlling this narrative, they never seem to have a long play. They didn't have a long play with impeachment. They didn't have a long play with Russia collusion.
Yeah.
Like, what are they banking on with coronavirus here? That everyone's going to basically die?
Yeah.
So, like, at some point, we are going to know the outcome of this, right? Whether it's 3 months, 6, 9 months, 12, we are going to know the outcome of this. And they're putting all of their eggs in the sky is falling basket, and I don't think the sky is falling.
I had Simon Constable on last week. He wrote the Wall Street Journal Guide to 50 Economic Indicators You Need to Know. And he said that throughout history with these things, the major mass fear, fright, and hysteria kind of peters out after 3 or 4 months.
Right.
These things kind of go on and on and on, but like the fright and hysteria is usually gone. And here in America, we're approaching like the hot season where the sun is the greatest disinfectant we have.
Right. As soon as the weather warms up a bit, I do think this will be exacerbated significantly. But also, in this world of 24/7 headlines, how long before we get fatigued with this being in the headlines? Of course, no one wants anyone to die. It's completely unfortunate that there is any sort of peril involved with this. But how long can it be this red alert hysteria situation? And I don't think it will be that long.
I think some of these media organizations are just they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome so badly.
They just want something. They want the other shoe to drop, but neither shoe has dropped.
That's what I'm saying. And now You know, I mentioned that the market's been a little touchy. It appears that it's farewell and good riddance to one Chris Matthews from MSLSD, as Mark Levin calls it.
That's a good one.
Apparently, the woke culture is starting to cancel their own, it looks like.
To me, it looks like cannibalism. They are eating their own. These are the people that are also banging their fist about propriety of behavior when behind closed doors, are they so appropriate? And what I loathe about cancel culture, if I were advising anyone, you can't apologize to the left, because if you give them a finger, they want a hand. If you give them a hand, they want an arm. If you give them an arm, they want a leg. They want your head on a stick. You cannot apologize for these faux misdeeds, because if you do, they will just push you even further for more and more. And that's what's happening here. We don't know the specific nature of what happened here with Chris Matthews, but this could be a big part of that cancel culture theme. And what bothers me as an attorney, even though we hate attorneys, this is a valid point.
No, I don't hate attorneys. I rely on them my whole life.
Right, but we do need some due process here. I could accuse you of anything tomorrow, and it could end your career. My husband is a man, and what I'm saying is everyone should have due process. If anyone makes an accusation, we just can't say that person is guilty. We are innocent as a culture until proven guilty, and it should stay that way.
Yeah, Alan Dershowitz, a member of Trump's impeachment defense team,
brilliant guy,
wrote a great book called Guilt by Accusation,
right?
Which is kind of the culture we're living in right now.
Look at poor Judge Kavanaugh.
I'm saying this guy, well, somewhere in me, I always thought there was some really great television things to learn from Chris Matthews. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe anybody who ever wanted to be on TV wanted to say once, let's play hardball.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like a good thing, but never agreed with him. I thought he was, one of the most twisted guys, and there was a lot of accusations out there. With there was the Aaron Burnett incident. Now this woman is saying that, are they taking it too far? But I mean, you can't say he's saying that he said to a woman she looked attractive.
But does that rise to the level of a criminal offense? In today's culture, it's terrifying me that we're basically criminalizing compliments. I'm like an old school woman. I want someone to take me, if I were not married, to take me on a date, to treat me to dinner, to open a door for me, to slide my chair in for me.
Put my jacket on.
Yes, all of those things are chivalrous. I'm raising a young man who is 6 years old. I want him to be chivalrous to a woman. I don't think we should live in this world where a woman isn't revered and said to be beautiful. I'll take a compliment. Thank you, I look nice. Why is that such a sleazy thing to say?
It is. It's getting stranger and stranger.
By the minute.
One of these days when you get here, I may have to say, "Good morning, Erin. You look terrible today."
I would hate that.
No, I wouldn't mean it, but I'm saying it. Maybe,
at this point,
maybe the one. And you know what?
There would be no eye contact zone.
McKinsey had a study out there that like 70% of CEOs they polled said they would be less likely these days to travel to a business trip, even with a senior executive who is a woman, just to kind of prevent it. So it's almost having the reverse effect on them.
Actually, you're more than right, and I will piggyback on that point. My friend who works in HR told me that often in certain scenarios when there is travel required to be with a man, they will not hire a woman for that job because it's too much of a financial liability to them to do so. No one can be in a boardroom just without supervision. It's a terrifying reality that's actually backfiring on women.
Sure is. You know what's terrifying to me? Tomorrow, because Erin's not going to be here. But it's Woman Wednesday, so I have that. And my good friend Consuelo Vanderbilt Costin is going to join me tomorrow. But it will not be terrific because today is Terrific Tuesday. The markets are a little shaky here, kind of touchy. And I'll just leave you on this. The markets are touchier than Joe Biden at a press conference.
Oh, burn.
Take a quick break. Come back right after this with more Liquid Lunch. We're going to mix it up with Robert Hornak and Michael Gordon in just 2 minutes. Stay right there.